This is Monkey World in Dorset, the largest ape and monkey rescue centre on the planet. Today on Monkey Life, Linger meets her new family in the Orangutan nursery. Baby Jolie is not impressed.
Jolie is a green-eyed monster. She thinks of Ame as her mum, and she's not going to share her mum.
In the Bachelor Chimp pad, a pile of blankets brings out Buxom's greedy side. And chimpanzee Jimmy has a very serious leg wound.
If it continues to get worse, then it's very serious. And yes, he could lose that leg easily.
Monkey World is home to over 160 primates, and the staff work hard at keeping them occupied and entertained. This morning, keeper Andy is on his way to see the Bachelor Chimps with something very special for them, a pile of old sheets and blankets.
The basic idea is we stack it up, so it's in a different presentation than they've seen before, so hopefully they'll get extra fun out of knocking it over, throwing it around, and then they'll probably go into their usual behaviours of putting it over the top of their head, running around chasing each other, that kind of thing.
Just like humans, a chimp's primary sense is sight, and it doesn't take long for Sammy to spot the blankets and do exactly what keeper Andy expected. And as the other chimps cotton on, it becomes clear that there are an awful lot of things you can do with a blanket. How about a portable tent? Or you could just pick out your favourite colour. Or how about breakfast in bed? Or forget about breakfast and just stay in bed. But Rocky's not fooled. He knows how things work here at the park. The keepers have definitely hidden some treats amongst these sheets, haven't they? With the high-ranking chimps distracted, the low-rankers get a chance to eat breakfast in peace. And it looks like Spanish Charlie's stocking up for lunch too. Meanwhile, high-ranking Buxom has decided that he needs a lot of blankets. After all, they make a perfect den. Buxom's den is important to him, and he needs just one more blanket. Sammy's will do. While the bachelors are outside enjoying their blankets, over in Paddy's chimp group, there's a medical problem. 23-year-old Jimmy has a nasty leg infection. It started as a small blister, but now he has an infected ulceration. Wildlife vet John Lewis has been called in.
I'm not sure what's caused that, whether it's an infected wound that's just, progressed, an infection which we haven't controlled with antibiotics, or what it is. But well, I'm told there was nothing caustic put on the leg, which is another possible reason, so we'll have to go with infection.
All animals are good at hiding pain. This protects them from showing weakness to others. So no one knows if Jimmy's leg is causing him discomfort, but he's on medication just in case. The worry is, does the infection go any deeper?
I can't see whether the bone's exposed. I don't think it is at the moment. They have more tissue there than we do, but that's the danger. And if the bone gets exposed, it'll dry, and then you'll get problems with the bone. But it should heal up if we get the right antibiotic.
Jimmy will remain separated from his group until the wound begins to heal. The keepers will need to monitor him closely to make sure his leg doesn't deteriorate. But later, Jimmy shows he's less than a perfect patient.
Don't interfere with that wound, leave the dressing alone. Well, you can say that until you're blue in the face to him, he's going to mess with it.
And John's expertise is needed in another chimp group. It's just a routine procedure, but there's a complication.
One of the animals might just be pregnant.
Monkey World is home to 14 orangutans living in 3 groups. This morning, big male Tuan and his ladies are getting a surprise. Sugarcane. Sugarcane isn't a native food for orangutans, so they're not sure what to make of the big sticks hanging around their enclosure. Lucky is the first to investigate. Roro is completely bemused. She struggles with one of the canes for a bit. Then she gives up and heads off to find the more familiar fruit and vegetables. Tuan's equally confused by the sugarcane. He doesn't realise it's edible, so he's tucking into his usual breakfast. But Lucky's had a taste and discovered it's very good. So there's only one thing for it. Grab as much of the stuff as you can before the others find out. Xiaolan is the lowest ranking member of the group. She sits patiently, knowing it's best to hang back until the others have had their share. Tuan's finally realised how delicious the sugarcane is. And now he's got the taste for it, he wastes no time in hoovering up the rest before the girls get to it. With the rest of the group occupied, Xiaolan spots her chance and grabs a chunk, heading up high to enjoy it in peace. And she discovers it's been well worth waiting for. These orangs aren't the only ones getting sugarcane today. Will Gordon and his gang work out how tasty they are quicker than Tuan's group? On the other side of the park, wildlife vet John Lewis is on his next medical task of the day.
2 of the female chimps here have contraceptive implants under the skin. They're little rods that give off the same kind of chemicals as you get from the contraceptive pill. And they last a couple of years. We're at the end of those 2 years. So we have to take out the old ones and put in the new ones.
All the adult females here are on contraception, as Monkey World usually operates a non-breeding policy to make room for other rescued primates. The park has found the contraceptive pill to be the most effective method. But Jess and Evelyn don't always take theirs, so they have to have contraceptive implants. These have proved to be very effective. The chimps have to be anaesthetised for the implants to be put in place, but they only have to go through this procedure every 2 years. Jess is the first to be anaesthetised. John is joined by Monkey World's vet, Femke.
Oh, I feel something here.
You got it.
Human females have only 1 implant put in at a time, but the park chooses 2 implants for the chimps.
1 implant would stop pregnancy, and that's fine. But if you use a higher dose by using 2 rods, then you also suppress cycling. In other words, the animal doesn't go through an estrus period, which means you don't get males fighting over an estrus female, which means you have more group harmony. And if that's what we want, and in this case we did, we use 2. But it doesn't have any greater side effects, doesn't seem to, but achieves a little bit more of what we need.
That's 1.
Good. The implant is some kind of semi-permeable plastic which allows the drug contained inside it to leach out slowly over a long period of time. As I say, we put 2 in a chimp, but I think 1 is the normal human dose. As you see, it's very small and it's very inert. In other words, it doesn't cause a great reaction in the body. So once the hole you've made in the skin has settled down, it doesn't irritate them.
Jess's implants are removed and replaced easily. But it might be a different story for Evelyn. Mysteriously, she's been putting on a lot of weight.
There's one complication. One of the animals might just be pregnant. So that means either a failure of the contraceptive or she's managed to get it out without us noticing. So we have to check her by an ultrasound scan first, find out why she's got a swollen belly. If that's not pregnant, we can fit her with more implants. If it is pregnant, we don't give her a contraceptive. Obviously, we let her go through the pregnancy and have the youngster as normal.
Coming up, will the ultrasound reveal whether Evelyn is pregnant?
If that swelling is a result of pregnancy, you should expect to feel a head or, some part of the skeleton of the fetus.
Baby orang Linger meets her new family.
You have contact, almost.
And John is needed back at the chimpanzee pavilions. Jimmy's leg has taken a turn for the worse.
I can see how close the bone is to the surface, and it's extremely close. And yes, he could lose that leg easily.
At Monkey World in Dorset, the medical team has anaesthetised female chimpanzee Evelyn. They need to replace her contraceptive implant, but recently she's gained weight, so first they need to check whether she's pregnant.
If that swelling is a result of pregnancy, you should expect to feel a head or, some part of the skeleton of the fetus. But obviously the scan will tell us exactly.
Ultrasonographer David Harding can't find a fetus yet.
What we're actually getting is these multiple rings pretty much throughout the abdomen, which maybe there's quite a lot of gas in there, but also it's suggesting there's quite a lot of fat in there.
The ultrasound has shown Evelyn's large stomach is actually due to an over-enthusiastic appetite, and not a pregnancy. This gives animal manager Jeremy food for thought.
There's 18 chimps in this group, so to put in enough food for 18 chimps, people at the bottom end of the ladder are not going to get anything. They're just not going to get anything to eat. So you have to overfeed them just to make sure everybody gets some. But then, if an animal's really obese, you've got various ways of sorting that depending on how bad the situation is. I mean, if it's a really, really bad situation, we could isolate her at food time and give her nice but non-fattening things. But I don't think the situation's that bad here. She's just got a bit of a belly. I mean, she's not obese, she's just a bit porky. And really a bit of extra blubber isn't exactly the end of the world. I mean, I get away with it, so, maybe she can.
Now the team knows Evelyn isn't pregnant, they can go ahead and put in the new contraceptive implants. Later, baby orang Linger has a difficult meeting with one of her new roommates.
Jolie thinks of Ame as her mum, and she's not going to share her mum.
And vet John's work continues. Is chimpanzee Jimmy causing himself irreparable damage?
I can't see how I can repair that surgically. There isn't enough tissue to close the defect.
Today, the orangutans have been getting sugarcane treats, and now it's time for Gordon and his gang to try them. Gordon doesn't know what to make of the unfamiliar objects. Baby Kai is investigating, and even though Gordon doesn't know what the sugarcane is, he's suddenly eager to hoard it before Kai gets to it. But Kai's decided that this is not food as he knows it. So he heads off, with a helping hand from Amy. Sugarcane isn't a native food for orangutans, but they prove if it's sweet, it's good enough for them. Meanwhile, Kai gingerly tries a piece. And as soon as the sweet flavours hit his taste buds, he can't get it in quick enough. Gordon's finally realised how delicious the sugarcane is. and he's putting his hands and feet to good use to hold on to as much of the sweet stuff as possible. Like every toddler, Kai's got a sweet tooth. Now he's tasted the treats, he's not going to miss out. He tries his luck with Amy. Amy loves her food, so Kai's got his work cut out. But persistence and cuteness can go a long way. Flushed with success, Kai's on the prowl. He targets Mum, but Xiao Kuai is no pushover. Kai may be cute, but she's holding tightly to her stash. So Kai's relying on persistence. Extreme persistence, and Mum just doesn't stand a chance. Just like in the wild, it's Xiao Kuai's role as Mum to teach her youngster what to eat and how to find it. And Kai's proving to be a fast learner. He even knows the most comfortable spot for lunch. Kai is the only orang at the park to be raised by his mother in a family group. The other babies were hand-reared when their mums rejected them. They all live together in the Orangutan Nursery and are cared for by foster mum, R. May. Recently, they've welcomed a new arrival, baby Linger.
Hello, beautiful girl.
Today, Linger is meeting the 3 young girls of the group under the watchful eye of R. May.
May, go get great.
She's careful not to frighten Linger and keeps her distance, while Linger holds on tightly to a bundle of wood wool for reassurance. Linger was born in a zoo in Paris almost 2 years ago. She was hand-reared and couldn't be integrated with the older orangs. But she's confident and outgoing. Everybody's hopeful that a new family at Monkey World will take to her.
Oh, not the aerial assault, no!
At Monkey World's creche, 2-year-old Jolie has a very close bond with Arme and is not at all impressed by new girl Linger. Jolie won't let go of her foster mum.
We have contact, almost. Who's that?
But eventually, Arme makes contact with Linger, albeit
Good
briefly.
girl. Linger's doing very well. She's, obviously she's been dropped in at the deep end and she's reacting very well. She's not doing anything wrong. Just learning new people.
Jolie, though, is now so upset by Linger's presence, she lashes out at her.
Oi!
But Jeremy's on hand.
No. No. Jolie is a green-eyed monster, and so any interest that Arme shows in the baby here, she has an issue with. That Jolie thinks of Arme as her mum, and she's not going to share her mum. I mean, that's quite totally expected, so we've just got to police that and see how it evolves.
Linger will have several more meetings like this before she joins the group full-time. Over in the chimpanzee bedrooms, Vet John has been called back urgently. Jimmy's leg injury has got worse. What started as a small blister is now an open sore, as Jimmy has peeled away the scab, revealing what's underneath.
What I can see now is more accurately, I can see how close the bone is to the surface, and it's extremely close.
The damage is far more extreme than John originally thought. It's likely that Jimmy is in a lot of pain, but he doesn't show it. In the wild, injured chimps do the same, to hide their weakness. They'll often isolate themselves from the rest of the group, because in an aggressive situation, they can't defend themselves. Here at the park, Jimmy's on medication to ease any pain, and hopefully begin mending his injury.
This is going to take months of treatment, I would think, to get him back to rights. I can't see how I can repair that surgically. There isn't enough tissue to close the defect. So it's got to be medical. And for that, we need to put things on it. I think he's going to need a lot of daily attention. Hopefully, so that we can actually put creams or materials on that wound which will encourage it to close over, to form that the early phases of the scar tissue, the early phases of healing in a way. And that needs to cover the defect. And the gels actually are quite effective in doing that. And of course, in a human, you can say to them, don't interfere with that wound, leave the dressing alone. Well, you can say that until you're blue in the face to him. He's going to mess with it.
If Jimmy were in his natural environment, the tropical climate would have caused an infection, and the outcome would have been fatal.
If it continues to get worse, then it's very serious. If he exposes the bone then dries, and in fact dries and dies, then he'll have dead bone in the lower half of his leg. And yes, he could lose that leg easily.
For Jimmy to have the best chance of keeping his leg, he must let the keepers treat his wound. Animal manager Jeremy briefs his team. They'll go to any lengths to make this happen.
If it costs an arm and a leg, we're saving his leg. OK? And that's our mission. We're going to do it. You know, if he wants caviar to let you put it on his leg, he can have it. If he wants a glass of champagne, he can have it. Whatever he wants. Hopefully he'll do it for a piece of banana, but let me know what you want, and I'll get it.
Will do.
Next time, chimp youngster Eddie is scrounging again. Baby Linger finally bonds with her new orangutan family. And animal manager Jeremy prepares to take a huge risk.
I reckon I can go in with him.
It's the only way he's going to be able to get a swab from Jimmy's wound.